There's this new article that came out in Axios that I wanted to share with you guys. We talked about something similar in the recent past, but reading between the lines here, my takeaway about this article is I think Obama is low-key convinced that Biden is probably going to lose the 2024 election. So I'm going to walk you through it, but the title here in Axios is Behind the Curtain, Why Obama and Dems Fear Biden Complacency. Lots of high-level Democrats are warning that President Biden and his re-election team are too complacent and unimaginative, interesting, about the threat of losing to Donald Trump, sources tell us. So what does this remind you of? Right off the bat, boom, Hillary Clinton. That's what my mind goes to. Very confident. Remember the story how they were popping champagne before the election results came in? They were that convinced that they won, that they were popping champagne on the plane, only to learn that she lost. Remember that? Well, the sense that the Obama team is getting behind the scenes with Biden and his team are, oh my God, you guys have no idea where you're at right now. You guys have no idea how behind you are right now. And it's true. They're behind. They are massively behind. They went from like 60% with Arab Americans and Muslim Americans down to 17%. They're now losing Latinos by 4 points. They're now losing young people by about 4 points. These are hardcore Democratic stronghold demographics, and they're losing them. Obama can read a poll. His team can read a poll. And they're like, are you guys out of your minds? All right, let's get some of the specifics here. The latest alarm was sounded Saturday in a leak to the Washington Post about a private meeting in which former President Obama pointed Biden to a different way to attack this campaign. We're told it was a lunch just before the holidays. Obama pushed Biden to consider moving his political operation outside of and beyond his White House advisors, as the former president had done with his Chicago-based 2012 re-election team. That's really interesting. That's interesting. So in other words, he's like, Obama has zero faith and zero trust in anyone and everyone around Joe Biden. And he's like, you guys couldn't govern your way out of a paper bag, and you damn sure couldn't campaign your way out of a paper bag. Interesting. Quote, Obama also recommended that Biden seek counsel from Obama's own former campaign aides, which Biden officials say they have done. Okay, so now that's interesting for this reason. The Obama team couldn't govern. They were Bill Clinton 2.0, very neoliberal centrist corporate types. That's true. But people don't remember. Trump actually, why am I incapable of saying Obama? Obama actually ran a phenomenal campaign in 2012. He went full populist against Mitt Romney. He hit him so hard over being an out-of-touch elitist who wants to cut taxes for the rich and outsource jobs. And it worked. And so they know something about campaigning. And they're looking at the Biden campaign like, oh my God, you guys are a total mess. Quote, someone wants to light a fire under the asses of some of these people, a top Democratic strategist told us. Jim Messina, manager of Obama's 2016 re-election campaign, I think that meant to say Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, often warns Democrats not to be worrywart bedwetters. The strategist added, it's hard to call it bedwetting when it's Barack Obama. In other words, there's a lot of voices that are saying, oh my God, Biden's down. This is kind of a problem. And, Democratic-aligned media, Democratic Party types just brush it aside and act like, you don't know what you're talking about. But when it's Obama who comes out and is like, no, they're actually right, then you can't really swat it aside because he's the patron saint of corporate Democrats. But many high-level Democrats think it's not fine. They fear the president's political machine hasn't found the sweet spot between a chill zen and dangerous complacency and has been way too zen. David Axelrod, Obama's political architect, told us the race is winnable but worrisome. The internal optimism, he said, reflects faith among a team that has been counted out before. That past is prologue, and it will all come together in the end. There has been broad anxiety about the Democratic political class given the magnitude of the threat. No Democrat wants panic, but these top insiders tell us the campaign needs to project way more urgency about the reality that Trump absolutely could win. One top Biden ally told us, when you're advertising on TV and you're going backwards, that's serious. Wow. That's a devastating fact. Biden ended 2023 with 39% job approval in Gallup polling. Approval among Dems was 78%, ticking down from 83% in November. The Biden 24 mindset was captured by a New York Magazine cover story last month. about the campaign's alarming calm. The cover headline over a photo from inside the Wilmington campaign office. The calmest Democrats in the country. Too calm, many Democrats say, especially given the peril to the Biden coalition posed by growing rage on the left over his staunch support for Israel in the war against Hamas. If Biden loses to Arab Americans and young voters, he loses. As I just pointed out to you, he's now losing young voters to Trump, and his support among Arab and Muslim Americans went from about 60% to about 17%. What's really interesting is they are accurately pointing out the most important issue which has led to his collapse. Now, by the way, here's another interesting fact for you. What was the last thing Barack Obama did vis-a-vis Israel on his way out the door? Barack Obama allowed a UN condemnation to pass to condemn Israel for their illegal settlement building. That was Barack Obama's little middle finger on the way out the door to Israel. In other words, I know what they're doing. I know about the illegal occupation. I know about the illegal settlements. I know about the fact that there's no Palestinian human rights whatsoever, and Israel is responsible for that. I know. Now, Obama wasn't good on the issue of Israel. Of course not. Sold them tremendous amount of, weapons, gave them billions in subsidies. Everybody knows that. But it was a wink and a nod on the way out the door that he knows what they are. He knows. And so what's interesting is Obama advising Biden, hey, dog, you gotta wrap it up here. You gotta reel in Netanyahu. This is unacceptable. This is the main reason why your polling has totally and utterly imploded and collapsed. Because you are green lighting a massive slaughter of innocent civilians in Gaza. People are seeing children get carpet bombed on a daily basis with U.S. bombs. That's the problem. I would die to be a fly on the wall to know what Obama is telling Biden on this issue. I would give anything. Because my suspicion is that Obama knows what's leading to the polling collapse and knows that this has to change. And so this is sort of an indication. The fact that they're bringing up that this is the issue that is leading to the collapse, that's interesting. That's interesting. When pressed on why they think things are fine, Biden allies invoke 4 articles of faith. Number 1, the war they think will be far in voters' rearview mirror by November 5th. Oh, that is so naive. Oh, that is so incredibly naive. This isn't just another thing, right? This isn't something that you can poo-poo or swat aside. There's 12,000 dead children and 27,000 dead innocent civilians, and North Gaza has been wiped off the map with our money and our weapons. Young people are disgusted by what they see. The idea, they'll get over it. That's insane. By then, the economy will be so good that voters can't ignore it. Voter confidence, the hope is, will catch up with the encouraging macro signs. Again, that's so incredibly naive because it's like, okay, unemployment is low. Okay, the market is doing well. But those are not the best indicators of how people are doing. How many people are living paycheck to paycheck? How many people are homeless? There was just a record increase in homelessness that happened. They only look at like the worst possible indicators and they ignore the ones that make them look bad. And they're convinced like, the economy will be phenomenal by then. Like, wishful thinking. Abortion rights. Dems will be boosted by the anti-GOP backlash following the Dobbs decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Swing voters won't want to give Trump a chance to appoint another Supreme Court justice, as Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff has put it privately. Dobbs and democracy. Look, on this one, they are correct. There was a big backlash to the right-wing position on abortion. There's no doubt about that. But are you going to rely on that every election from now until the end of time? At some point, it's just a new reality, right? And the shock has worn off. And so, one of the things that might help people get past this is if they see Biden funding a genocide, which is what he's doing, right? So just to relax on that seems very misguided to me. Biden and allies will spend more than $1 billion telling voters Trump is terrible. In the end, Biden's inner circle contends most independents won't look themselves in the mirror on election day, then go vote for Trump. Many senior Democrats fear that optimistic catechism shows a failure of imagination about the true chance that Trump could win. Yeah, they're definitely underestimating Trump and they're overestimating themselves. And look, there was one time where an anti-Trump campaign worked. That was 2020. There There was one time where an anti-Trump campaign failed. That was 2016. Could go either way. I truly don't think Biden understands how much he's despised right now. And also the intangible stuff about him, like how old he is and how he can't complete a sentence. Like, that stuff matters to voters. It matters. But people close to the White House fear there aren't enough people willing to give Biden bad news, because those who do can get their heads bitten off. As Axios' Alex Thompson has reported, that could help explain the leak about Obama, who remains very supportive of Biden. That's pathetic. So nobody's telling Joe Biden the truth because he gets mad. Oh, man. Top Democrats were relieved Friday by Biden's passionate opening speech of 24 in fiery remarks in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, coinciding with the third anniversary of the January 6th storming of the Capitol by Trump supporters. Biden warned, democracy is on the ballot. Your freedom is on the ballot. Like, look, that stuff is good. And in that speech, Biden compared Trump to Hitler because he's using like direct Hitler quotes. That's all good, but that's not enough, right? That's not enough. Biden name-checked Trump 44 times in the half-hour speech. He drew applause when he needled the former president on his drive to overturn the 2020 results. I had won the election and he was a loser. Some of the Dems we talked to see the speech as the campaign's "we get it" moment. See, now that is naive also. You know, like, he hasn't been campaigning at all. Now he's campaigning a little bit and they're like, that's it. Finally, you've said some words. It's like, you're going to need more than that, man. So look, reading between the lines here, my takeaway is Obama thinks Biden is going to lose. He doesn't fear that he could lose, which is what previous indications were. Now it's like, no, I think he's going to lose. And so he's trying to steer the ship from behind the scenes. But look, Biden's a stubborn dude, man. If he hasn't stopped supporting the genocide at this late date, that is one stubborn idiot right there. That is one stubborn idiot. So will he pay the political price? We'll see. There's still a lot of time between now and then, but I think they're far too optimistic and they don't take the threat of Trump seriously enough. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.